Hi, this is Larry Ricker of LarryRicker.com, and I'm in my Honda CR-V, and it's not doing YouTube videos for automated testing. I'm actually today looking at diagnosing a problem with my Honda CR-V. Seems there's a short circuit on the second fuse in the fuse box under the hood, and that fuse controls the taillights, the dashboard, and the multifunction controller in this car. And I've tore apart the tail lights and tried to check for shorts there. I didn't get any shorts there. Then I went through the dashboard and I replaced all the light bulbs behind the dash, and I didn't really find any shorts there. On the connector that goes into the dashboard, I did find two pins. One had 12 volt short, and the other one had 8.5 volt short, but I don't know the amperage on those. I don't know if that's the problem or not, but I was reading the forums online, and I got the idea that my radio, which I installed, it was a, what brand is this? It's a Pioneer. It's in panel dashboard, and it has a display that displays WAS information, and it hasn't displayed any WAS information since about the beginning of October, when I upgraded to iOS 11. So I thought it was an iOS 11 issue, but now I'm thinking that the trigger for the screen actually displaying the Waze, I keep pronouncing it as WAS, but Waze information on the Pioneer display, it's triggered by a light bypass, a bypass that I had put in for the light circuit, and that may be shorting out my fuse. I mean, that's the one thing that's changed. So I'm going to tear apart this dash and take a look and see if I can solve this problem by removing that short, if that's the short. So for taking care of this, what I do is I remove this dashboard piece. It actually has two screws underneath here. I remove those two screws and then just pull at the top of this dashboard, and out comes the display. Turn it upside down like that, and then I've got my radio area. I'm going to take out this radio and then locate that wire on the back and see if I can isolate the problem. Now that I'm looking at this wiring, I've got the radio pulled out and set up there on top of my dashboard, and I'm kind of reminded of the fact that I didn't have the proper wire wraps, tiny little wire nuts to put on these wires to enclose them when I put this together, so I wrapped them with electrical tape, and it looks as though several of those wires actually have come loose and have started to expose themselves. So that could very much be the source of my short. So I'm going to have to take... Radio Shack went out of business, so I got to go find some wire nuts, little wire nuts or something, to wrap this up a little more professionally and see if I can resolve this. So after I'm done shrinking up each one, when I pinch the end, it serves two purposes actually. I'm also giving a little tug on the wire to make sure that the shrink wrap stays on there tight on that wire, so it's not going to come loose in the future. I had shrink wrap some of these, and then I ran out of shrink wrap and finished the rest of the job with electrical tape, which is most likely the cause of my short circuit. So it was one of those jobs I just kind of finished and never got back to properly finishing it. So just want to pinch it right about here when it's hot, seal it up, and then tug it. Make sure that that shrink wrap's not coming off of there, because I don't want any more short circuits. Just to demonstrate why I'm using like 3 centimeters of shrink wrap now. Well, for one, I have a big roll of it that I picked up at the auto store at AutoZone. So I got a big roll of it here, and I'm just peeling it off, so I have lots of it. But the other reason is I previously shrink wrapped it, and I was kind of stingy on the shrink wrap, and it's got a little bit of exposed wire right at the base where it's sort of slipping off. So I'm redoing all these wires that aren't shrink wrapped properly. Now, just to make sure I did a complete job here, I counted the number of wires coming out of the back of the wiring harness. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on that side, and then if I flip it over, there's 6 more. So 8 and 6 is 14. So there's 14 wires total. And then I want to make sure I wrapped each one of those 14 wires. So I've got 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not wrapped, but it's cut. 7. 8 is this other one over here. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Or actually 14 down here. So I've got my wires all wrapped. So now I've already blown through a whole pile of fuses here that trying to diagnose this short. So now I'm going to go pull out yet another fuse out of my fuse bag and put it into the number 2 fuse, and then turn on the headlights and see if I blow a fuse this time, see if I fix the problem. Okay, so I did locate the keys. Now I'm going to test the dashboard, see if the dashboard lights up. Got to put your foot on the brake, and twin the key, turn on the headlights, and yeah, we have a lit dashboard, not very brightly lit. I think I got some more work there to do with replacing a few bulbs in the dashboard, but I think the short is now fixed. Okay, so I finally got that faceplate, the edging on here. That was about a 20-minute struggle. And then I'll just put this back up here and slip that back into place. Just kind of slips gently into place. And then after you get that in place, then you can put the little screws in the bottom here, and that should wrap up the radio reinstallation. Okay, so now for the final test of this setup, I'm gonna plug in my cord, my USB cord, into this into the radio. Pretty hard to do with one hand. Okay, now I got that plugged in, and I got it plugged into my stereo. So let me grab my keys here, and we'll put those in the ignition. And let's get these windshield wipers off. Okay, so let's see if we can get this radio to work again. Yeah. So we'll press this button, and then we'll choose the WAS. I'm going to turn on my headlights to make it seem like I am connected to. Let's see if I can launch this app up. I allow it on my device. It's launching. Okay, for my next test, I'm going to try this out with iOS 10.33 device, because it wasn't working with iOS 11. Let me turn on the headlights to bypass this warning screen. Okay, it's launching the app. It's asking me for permission on the device, so I'll touch that. Okay, it launched on the device. And it's not starting up. Oh wait, this is giving me an error message, get started. And what I gotta do is agreement. Accept the agreement. Okay, and okay, wants to send notifications. Get started. Okay, so now it's fully launched on the device. Let's see if I could go somewhere. Go home. That's not set up. Okay. And it's not launching on the screen. Let me see your mode. So the app radio is running on the device. Okay, now I'm getting a prompt on the screen for access. Okay. Hit to accept on the app radio app. Click OK. List of compatible applications. Oh, select language. Be nice if they put the United States at the top. Almost there. Here we go. Done. So the radio app's running on the phone. This is running here. Let's try to launch WAS again. Okay, app radio wants to launch WAS. Okay, so app radio launched WAS. And then I get this blank screen.